Okay, everybody should have this, whether you're a prepper, whether you're a hunter, whatever. This is referred to as a kill kit. And basically, it's everything you need to process your meat, is what it is, to make your life easier. Um, so let's start with the knives. I run a bark rubber knife, and you'll notice it has a round edge. That's for getting into places, you know. Um, Allows you to cut between the bone, gives you some force, pretty thick blade, right? This does most of the processing. This is the Havalon, is what this is. And these aren't all that expensive. The Havalon has sharp razor blades. These just pop off, you pop a new one on. Deep plastic ruts here along the sides so blood gets sticky and wet. Has a round circle on the end to put your thumb on. Get some force from it. This is great for cutting the asshole out. And when you got to get up inside the chest cavity, um, the chances of you cutting yourself are going to be pretty high when you go up inside the chest cavity. That's when you got to be extra careful, is what you got to be. Now, I also carry Gerber, also sells one like this. Some people prefer the Gerber. I also carry a fillet knife. Sometimes I go fishing. It's nice to have that on. It just comes in handy too if you're processing a deer sometimes. So I take three different types of knives basically. I carry this cordage. This is kind of a special cordage. It's a lot stronger than paracord. It does not stretch. Literally, when you cut this with a knife, it's really hard to cut. And what I use this for is I tie up the back leg, stretch it out around a tree, pull the back leg out, tie the other back leg, so this way I get spread eagle. And now I can actually begin my processing. So this way they don't close up on me. The trick is when you're skinning, you want to keep the hair, the dirt, the rocks, everything away from the meat. And determining how far out I am will determine what happens. I do carry a couple baggies for the heart and the liver. Um, 3 pairs of plastic gloves, hand sanitizers, wash my gloves, wash my hands, then put the gloves on, and actually wash the gloves too. I carry like 4 baggy ties. Okay, never know. They come in for 100 different things. I carry a plastic drop cloth, 1 millimeter thickness. Painters use it. Okay, this is a 9 foot by 12 foot. This has all kinds of purposes. If I'm going to take a deer down and take the skin off, take the head off, take the hooves off, and I'm going to process it right there, and I'm only going to do it because I'm probably one day out from getting it out. The whole idea to this process is to keep the meat as cool as possible and to prevent bugs from getting on the meat. And of course, your skill with skinning. If you don't have any, watch some YouTube videos and get it muscle memoried into your brain. Um, so let's say I'm a day out and I'm looking at a good 10, 12-hour walk to get the meat back. The plastic's coming out. We're going to gut it. We're going to skin it. I'm going to try, and the whole deer is going to go on top of this plastic thing. It's going to be out of the leaves. We're not going to get any leaves in the meat. The meat becomes sticky when you start skinning. So everything's going to be kept on that plastic thing. This can be washed off, reused, no big deal. You can use that for a tarp. You can use it to catch rainwater. I mean, it has 100 uses. I also take a couple of pens you got when you take a deer. You have to fill out your tag, put the tag on the antler. I take a wash rag. I do take some wipes with me. And then you move over to the bags you're going to put your meat in. There's many types of game bags. They're basically a very thin mesh that keep the bugs off your meat. So if I'm into a 10, 12-hour hike to get this stuff out, I'm definitely going to put the meat inside game bags. And I'm going to hang them in the shade under your tree. I'm going to be there while I process the rest of the meat. You don't want to lollygag around. You don't want to sit there and spend 3 hours messing around. Remember, you're in the wilderness. We've just taken down a deer, and the smell of blood is in the air. If a bear catches wind of that, you very well could be a target. So you want to move your butt. You want to make sure you have your bow nearby, your bow's loaded. You never know, you might need it. I also carry a 45 handgun on the side of my leg, at all times when I'm back there. That's my precaution. You do what you think you need to do. So when don't I use this? Well, or the game bags for that matter. If I'm using this, I'm using game bags. Now, let's say I'm 1 hour, 1 hour or less from my vehicle. Well, now all I'm going to do is gut it. I'm going to gut that animal and I'm going to get it out to my vehicle. Now, I've seen some guys, if they hunt hogs can be pretty small. Sometimes they can be pretty big. A lot of guys will debone it, take the meat out, skin it, and back at their vehicle, they've got a whole cooler full of ice. And that meat will go right in it. Same thing can be done with deer if you want, if you start quartering it up. But where I'm going to be taking deer, everything's short. I'm in a half an hour from the vehicle. I'm maybe a half an hour from my house. So I'm just going to gut it, and that's it. Gut it, cut the ass out of it, pull the guts out, and tip it over, get the blood out, and then get it back to my vehicle, and then get it back home as soon as possible. And then once I get it home, it's going to be a whole lot easier to process, skin it, cut it up, and get it put away. But you should have a kill kit. You hear about everybody making up stuff in their so-called buggo bags, prepper bags, get home bags, all this stuff. And I've never seen anybody talk about this stuff. It's like, what if you do come across and you do some fishing, catch some fish? What do you do? Cut it up with that? I mean, you can, but it's going to suck when you fry it in the frying pan. You cut it up with a fillet knife, it's going to be a whole lot nicer and not have very many bones in it. And if you don't know how to fillet a fish, well, I would suggest you learn another skill that probably most people do not have. Now, you can scale it, cut the heads off, gut it, cut the tail off, fry it, and you'll still have a lot of bones in it. But you fillet it, now you don't have to worry about skinning it because, taking the scales off, and you just got nice clean fish. Some fish fillets better than other fish. Catfish, for example, you don't fillet at all. You cut it down the back of the barb that sticks up, the fin that sticks up on the center of its back. You're going to cut down halfway. Do not cut the spine and get right to the touch of the spine there. On the belly of the catfish are two things that stick out the barbs. You're going to put your fingers there and then take these other three fingers and go around the catfish. Okay? You've already cut the back of the neck. And then what you're going to do, poof, you're going to pop it and skin it, and it's going to come right off, is what's going to happen. So, again, watch some videos. There's a big difference in cleaning a catfish to cleaning a bass to filleting a long fish, like a pike, pickerel, muskie. They're totally different, but they taste better if you can fillet them. But everybody should have a kill kit. And it's, a lot of people say, well, make some snares, make some traps. That's great, but when you catch it, you got to get rid of it. You got to skin it. You got to take care of it. You got to process that meat, or it's going to be nasty looking when you try to eat it. I mean, I don't know about you, but I like my food to look decent when I put it on a plate and look appetizing, and it's a banquet, and not just, okay, I'm going to have it in chunks and pieces and ground and leaves and all this stuff in it, and doesn't look very appetizing. You'll eat it, but not me. So I'll give you links to some of this stuff, what I have, even to the game bags if you want to check them out. But if you don't have a kill kit, you really should come up with one. And again, weight is a thing to think about. Like I said, this goes on my side, so this is going to have no weight at all. So you want to think about not having as much weight. Now you take, for example, this stuff here. I could tie up a rabbit's back leg, hang it from one leg, and get out, my Havalon and just skin down the sides, pull it down, gut it, cut the head off, and be done with it. And be all done in 5 minutes. But if I didn't have this rope or paracord or whatever, then I got this animal on the ground and I'm making a mess. It's in the mud, it's in the dirt, it's in the leaves. No, process your meat and be clean about it. I carry hand sanitizer on my pack. I wash my hands. They go inside my gloves, and then I wash my gloves. I mean, after all, these aren't packaged. It's just sitting inside a container, It's all sitting in. So there's probably germs all over that. I want to try and be as clean as possible when I'm processing my game. So everybody's making these little kits of pens, pencils, razors with their Maxpedition bags. Stop. Go make a kill kit. And think about, what do I need? And I'm ready to process food. If you're bugging out or moving, whatever, and you're with your wife, your kids, believe me, they're going to thank you once you start processing and making things look really nice before you eat them. It becomes a lot more appetizing. So, some ideas for a kill kit. Go make yourself one. And if you think of something maybe I should toss in here to make my life easier, please let me know. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.